of Teresa Martin. She rode the orphan train in 1910. It was huge, big as a house. She rode from the Foundling Orphanage in New York City all the way to Kansas. Hear how nuns gave Teresa away. When the sisters ushered the children inside the depot, a huge crowd surged forward. Teresa's heart leaped. The depot seemed as full as Grand Central Station. No sooner did she step inside than hands reached to pick her up. Perfect strangers lifted her and fussed over her. Frightened, she glanced at Sister Ursula, who nodded her head and smiled. Teresa then promptly kissed the cheek of the stranger who held her. Maybe this is my mother. She kissed the woman again. Soon this person and that one held her, cuddled her, and carried her around the crowded waiting room. One man told her he was Mr. Funk. "Wouldn't you like to come home with me?" he said. She noticed that Mr. Funk's clean cheek smelled almost like perfume when she kissed him. Maybe he will be my father. When she saw Mr. Funk's handsome wife, her hopes rose. Then a big man with bushy eyebrows claimed her. "Oh, aren't you cute?" he said when she kissed his cheek. She liked the way his strong arms secured her. "I want this one for my father." She snuggled closer. He was her favorite among all of those who'd carried her. "Attention, please! Attention, please!" she heard Sister Ursula call and clap. "Will those receiving children come forward, please?" The crowd quieted. About a dozen adults moved toward the nuns. The others held back. The man with bushy eyebrows stood at the front of the crowd, still holding Teresa. "Let me see your number." He looked at her bodice. 4. "As we call your number," Sister Ursula said, "please step forward to claim your child. Examine the child we selected for you. If it's satisfactory, take it to your home and treat it as you would your own flesh and blood." The sister called number 1. A couple broke out of the crowd to take a boy about Teresa's age, Albert. Then a woman swept up 2-year-old Gertrude. Next, Mary stepped forward to leave with the Schumachers. Afraid she'd never see Mary again, Teresa held out her arms, but Mary walked away. Finally, the nun said, 4. The bushy-eyed man set Teresa on the floor, and she walked to meet Conrad and Elizabeth Beeker, her new caretakers. They appeared ancient, all shriveled and old and coarser than the Funks or the man with the bushy eyebrows. How could they be her parents? They weren't even good-looking. Mr. Beeker, a tall, skinny man with a mustache, was mostly bald, and his few hairs were gray. Heavy-set Mrs. Beeker had thin wisps of black hair pulled tightly away from her face. How drab she looked. Both Beekers stooped, especially Mrs. Beeker, whose long black dress dragged on the ground. Teresa did not hold up her arms to them, and neither of the Beekers touched her.